Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Man, I hope that everyone is having a great day, great week, and everything is going great for them. So let's go on start. So today's lesson is on the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and we are going to mainly highlight Tobit going into sound fatherly advice. So first, let us get an understanding of who Tobit is. We are going to start with the book of Tobit, chapter 1, starting at verse 1.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 1, and it reads, the book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobiel, the son of Ananiel, the son of Adul, the son of Gabil, of the seed of Asahel, of the tribe of Naphtali.
So first things first, the Tobit here is a northern kingdom Israelite from the tribe of Naphtali. Read on.
Verse 2, who in the time of Ebenezer, king of the Assyrians, was led captive out of this, which is at the right hand of that city, which is called properly Naphtali in Galilee above Asher.
So Tobit went into captivity, as do all of the Israelites throughout his history tend to go. But let's see why they went into this captivity. Let's get the book of Second Kings, Salakia, get that right. 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 7.
Make that a little bigger, please.
Will do. How is that?
It did move. Or maybe move a little bit. Okay, cool. I can deal with that.
Perfect. Verse 7.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17 and verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods.
So sin causes us to go into what? Captivity. Read on.
Verse 8, and walk in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made.
So we had sinned by breaking God's law, and we also followed the customs of the heathen. So let's go back to get our brief on understanding of who Tobit is. Verse 3.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked in the days of my life in the way of truth and justice, and did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation, who came with me to Nineveh, into the land of the Assyrians.
So even though Tobit was in captivity, he did what? He walked in the way of truth. And let's see what is truth. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy what is the truth?
Thy law is the truth.
So Tobit was walking in the way of truth, which means Tobit was walking in the law. Cool. Verse 4.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 4. And it reads, and when I was in mine own country, in the land of Israel, being but young, all the tribe of Naphtali, my father, fell from the house of Jerusalem, which was chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, that all the tribes should sacrifice there, where the temple of the habitation of the Most High was consecrated and built for all ages.
So even though everyone surrounding Tobit, all of his brothers, cousins, uncles, aunties, everything was going off, sinning, falling from the ways of the Most High God, Tobit still stayed on the right on our path. Let's get the book of Second Esdras, chapter 7, and start at verse 6.
It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 7, verse 6. There is also another king. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things.
Okay, so this is referring to the kingdom. Read on.
Verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
So the only way that you can make it to this prize on city is by going through dangerous things, by feeling like everything around you is coming to take you down. This is the same type of things that Tobit went through, by everyone around him going in the way of chaos, which is break God's laws. Read on.
Verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
So Tobit also knows that you have to make this journey on your own when it comes down to it. Yeah. You got brothers, you got sisters, you got elders, you got all of this, but can't no one be your salvation. You have to earn your own salvation. Read on.
Verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
So if you never go through anything, if you never go through the people around you going off and you staying on the course of righteousness, you will never get to the prized city. Con. Let's go back to Tobit just to wrap up him. Let's get verse 5.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 5. Now all the tribes which together revolted, and the house of my father Naphtali sacrificed unto their heifer Baal.
Read on.
But I alone went often to Jerusalem at the feast, as it was ordained unto all the people of Israel by an everlasting decree, having the first fruits and the tenths of increase, with that which was first shorn. And they gave I and them gave I at the altar to the priests of the children of Aaron.
So although everyone on Tobit's tribesmen went, Tobit still kept the law. So we now understand now that Tobit is a man of faith who won't be stopped from serving God. So obviously Tobit's gonna know some valuable information and will teach valuable lessons later on down. Let's skip down to verse 10.
Verse 10. And when they were carried away captive to Nineveh, all my brethren and those that were of my kindred did eat of the bread of the Gentiles.
So they were going all the way off. They were eating things counter to the dietary law that was given us. But they also prophesied too. Let's get the book of Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 13.
It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them.
Cool. So we will not always have clean food, but we still have to try to do right. Reading on verse 11.
It's Book of Tobit chapter 1 and verse 11. But I kept myself from eating.
Read.
Because I remembered the Most High with all my heart.
Hey, that's a powerful brother here. Read on.
Verse 13. And the Most High gave me grace and favor before Ebenezer, so that I was his superior.
Cool. So through his faithfulness, the Most High kept him and had put him in a pretty good spot for him being in a captivity. Let's get the book of Proverbs chapter 16 verse 7.
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7. When a man's way please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Hey, that is plain there. When you are doing right, you will have peace. So being that we currently are in the land of our enemies, we need to know how to move. We need to know how to make peace. So obviously, if Tobit is doing it, he is gonna have some pretty good advice, right? Let's get the book of Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 31.
The book of Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 31. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise.
Hey, he who hears the law will be around wise people. Read on.
Verse 32. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. So
we are about to learn some valuable life on lessons here very soon. So if you are wise, you will hear. But if you don't, it's pretty much plain. You despise your own soul. So moving on with our brother Tobit's story. So he has a son. Let's bring out that. Let's get the book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 20.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 20. Then all my goods were forcibly taken away. Neither was there anything left me, besides my wife Anna and my son Tobias.
So feel on free to go back and read, but pretty much Tobit's goods got on taken from him because he was keeping the law and on burying the dead of his own. So these are heathen that would end up killing us. They would kill us and end up just leaving us there in the street, in the restaurant, at the park, whatever. They would kill, leave. But the Israelite customs are to do what? Bury the dead. So Tobit ended up getting punished for simply keeping the law. He didn't rob, he didn't steal, he didn't kill. The only thing Tobit did was bury his dead brethren. All right. So this man, although taken, and the only thing that he has on left is his wife and his son, he is still faithful to the most side through it all. So let's move on forward to our main subject here, which is the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and let's start at verse 1.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 1. In that day, Tobit remembered the money which he had committed to Gabel and rages of. So I can say it out.
Rages
of Medea.
So prior to his goods being taken, Tobit had some bread stored up that he left with his fellow brother, right? And just to get the background on that, let's get the book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 14.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 14. And I went to Medea and left in trust with Gabel, the brother of Gabrias, and rages the city of Medea 10 talents of silver.
So Tobit left 10 talents of silver. Cool. All right. So let's go back to Tobit chapter 4 and get verse 2.
This book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 2, and it reads, and said with himself, I have wished for death, wherefore do I not call for my son Tobias, that I might signify to him of the money before I die.
So Tobit is leaving an inheritance for his son, which is a very, very wise on thing that goes on, and it should go on. Let's get the book of Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 22.
Book of Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
So a good man leaves his money, leaves his houses, leaves his goods to his kids and his kids, because that is how generational wealth is built. So this is a good man, a good father doing a good thing for his son. Also note in verse 2, Tob is pretty much said, man, I am ready to die, right? Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 33, and we're going to get verse 23.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 23. At the time when thou shalt end thy days and finish thy life, distribute thine inheritance.
Hey, so Tob is doing right here. He is dishing out bread to his son. Very, very smart thing. All right, let's get verse 3, chapter 4, Tobit.
Book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 3. And when he had called him, he said, My son, when I am dead, bury me, and despise not thy mother, but honor her in all the days of thy life, and do that which shall please her, and grieve her not.
So on. Tobit saying, son, when I'm gone, take care of mama. Don't do wrong to her. Read on.
Verse 4, remember, my son, that she saw many dangers from thee, when thou was in her womb, and when she is dead, bury her by me in one grave.
See, this is something we also don't like think about. Like our parents went through so much just to bring us to the world. Shoot, some of us come from young on our parents, single parent homes, on parents that was working 2 and 3 jobs just to provide for us. So Tobit's telling us, honor thy mother and thy father. Tobit is clearly teaching the law here. And let's prove that. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Hey, that is plain as day. We done heard that growing up for our whole on lives. But actually do it, show it, do right by your parents. This is some sound advice coming from a wise father. Let's go back to Tobit chapter 4. Let's get verse 5.
The book of Tobit chapter 4 verse 5. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days, and let not thy will be set to sin, or to transgress his commandments. Do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not in the ways of unrighteousness.
Beautiful sentence. So the first thing here, what is it to be mindful of God? Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 1 and verse 2.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 1 and verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night.
You have to take joy in the law. That is how you keep your mind on the Lord. When you meditate on this word day and night, that is being mindful there. Now we also see in that same verse, Tobit's telling Tobias to let not thy will be set to sin. Well, what is sin? Let's get the book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 4.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is breaking the law. Once again, Tobit saying, keep the law. All right. And back in that same verse, he also tells him to do uprightly all thy life long. Okay. So let's deal with that word there, upright. So let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 137.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 137, and it reads, Tizadin, righteous art thou, O Lord, and upright are thy judgments.
So you have to be comfortable with judgment, which also means once or more, you have to be comfortable with the law because that shows you being upright. Cool. Because we are judged by what? The law. Let's get the book of Romans chapter 2, start at verse 12.
It's the book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 12. And it reads, for as many as have sinned without the law shall also perish without the law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law.
So, either way, you are being judged by the law and you might die by the law. Read on.
Verse 13, for not the hearers of the law are just before the Most High, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
And you can't just hear, you must do. Come on. Let's go back to chapter 4 and let's get verse 6.
Come on. The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 6. For if thou deal truly, thy doing shall prosperously succeed to thee and to all them that live justly.
So Tobit's teaching to Tobias to live a just on life, right? Well, how do you do that? Let's get the book of Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief.
So even though a just man falls, he gets back up. If you sin, don't sin anymore. So I also know this is a father who is talking to his son, right? So obviously, as a father, Tobit knows that his son will have many trials, tribulations, temptations, and everything else coming up for him. So Tobit saying, son, live a just life, be a just man. Even though you fall, stand up, try harder, do better. That's some wise advice there. All right, back to chapter 4. Let's get verse 7.
It's book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from the poor. And the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee.
Read.
If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
So do alms, definitely do them, but also give what you can. Don't be on foolish by giving up everything you got. Read on.
Verse 9. For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 12, start at verse 3.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms.
So if you aren't giving alms, which that doesn't have to always be a monetary thing, but but it's simply helping out your own fellow brother. If you don't do all that, there is no good coming to you. Read on.
Verse 4, give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
But don't help a sinner. You can't just help everybody that you see. You can't help someone who isn't trying to serve God. Read on.
Verse 5, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
Hey, but because given to a sinner that they're on sinners going to try to take everything because they don't have the end. They want everything. So be wise. Let's go back to Tobit chapter 4, verse 10.
The book of Tobit chapter 4 and verse 10. Because that alms doth deliver from death, and suffereth not to come into darkness.
Read.
For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High.
Because alms are a good gift when you give it in the sight of the Most High God. Let's get the book of Matthew. Let's get chapter 6. Start at verse 1.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
So also don't give out alms for prize or recognition. Like think about how many videos we on scene of like people giving out money and like food and rooms to like homeless folks, but they're on filming it because they want glory from men. Read on.
Verse 2. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory among men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
Hey, they got everything they have wanted, folks to see them. That's it. Because it's a lot of the folks just want to seem good, want to seem cool, but no one truly wants to serve on God or to simply be a quote unquote good guy. They're only doing it for the praise of it. Read on.
Verse 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth.
Read.
Verse 4. That thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly.
So do your alms privately. Do your alms privately so that God can bless you. Because doing it openly, filming and bragging on it and all that, you already ready game. because people end up saying, wow, that is a great, wow, she is a swell girl. Hey, and if you want that, hey, by all means. But I want God to bless me. I don't want men to. Back to the book of Tobit, chapter 4. Let's get verse 12.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember thy son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
Hey, this is facts. Told be saying, don't bring no heathen home. Shoot, I know on some of us heard on growing up. Our parents told us, hey, look, hey, don't you bring no white girl home. We all heard it. That was our parents actually teaching us scripture, and I can prove that. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, start at verse 1.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Read on.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
Man, when we came into these lands, we were supposed to kill them off. We were supposed to utterly kill them. We were not supposed to make any bonds, not no covenant saying, hey, if I let you live, y'all will be our servants. No, we were supposed to slaughter. Show no mercy. None. Read on.
Con. Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
What?
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
No.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
But I thought love is love. Man, hell no. The Bible says that we are supposed to be separated, and there is a specific reason for it. Read on.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
Hey, because they will turn us from serving the Most High. That is plain. But hey, someone might need on further proof there. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. And it reads, when the Most High divided the nations to their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So did man separate, or did the land separate? No, the Most High divided the nations, and he did it according to us. Why? Read on.
Verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Because we are separate. We are chosen to be with the Most High God. The same way Tobit set out this bread for his son, these 10 talents of silver, he has set us as his inheritance. Let's get the book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 12.
It's a lot. So you saying that segregation is biblical? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, I am. But am I wrong in saying that? Or am I reading it?
You're reading it. Huh?
That's right. Read on now. Ezra 9:12.
The book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 12. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat of the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever.
And we keep seeing that word, inheritance, inheritance. And the only way that you can keep your inheritance is by separating. So stop with the heathen. Tobit saying, son, hey, find you someone of your own so that we can be blessed. And we're not even supposed to seek their wealth. We don't need them for anything. Nothing. Cool. Read it on. Tobit chapter 4. Let's get verse 13.
Book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, thy sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine.
So what is it to love thy brethren? First off, you gotta marry women of your own people, just to keep proper context here, but also to love your brethren means all this. Let's get the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17.
The book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
Read.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
So you have to not suffer sin upon your brother to show that you love him. And that is telling him to keep the law. But we also see in that same verse that is what we at,
verse 14,
verse 13 still.
13.
For in pride is what? Destruction and much trouble. So let's talk about pride, and let's see why Tob is telling his son to steer clear of it. Get the book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18.
The book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall.
Hey, so Tob is saying, son, avoid pride so you don't get what killed. Simple. Moving on. Book of Tobit chapter 4 and verse 14.
Book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 14. Let not the wages of any man which have wrought for thee tarry with thee, but give him it out of hand. For if thou serve the Most High, he will also repay thee. Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest, and be wise in all thy conversation.
So now Tobit's telling Tobias how to deal with money. This is a wise father giving out some great tools to his son. So where did Tobit get this idea from? Let's get the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 13.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 13. And it reads, Thou shalt not defraud thy brother, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
So pay somebody what you owe them when they owe, when you owe them. Now in the prior days, like you pretty much should have paid someone for their work every single day. But now here, under the customs of the heathen, you get a weekly check, you get a bi-weekly check, you get a monthly check. So obviously we are in a land where the law doesn't mean anything to them. So Tobit's telling his son how to deal even in the land of his captivity. Beautiful. Now, he also said in that same verse, to be wise in all thy conversation. So let's see what being wise in your conversation is about. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 23.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 23. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of the Most High.
So whoever is speaking right gets what? Salvation. So going back, to be mindful of the Lord is to meditate in his laws day and night. And he's also saying here, whoso offereth praise glorifies me. And we praise him by doing what he says do, which is keep the law. So your conversation will be based in the law. Your conversation will be based in things that will lead to salvation. Tobit is giving out the game plan here. Back to Tobit 4, let's get verse 15.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 15. Do that to no man which thou hatest. Drink not wine to make thee drunken, neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey.
So don't do things to people that you hate, and don't be drunk. Simple. Let's get the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 12.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 12. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
Hey, so it's the age y'all saying we had grew up hearing, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And this is the law and the prophets. Because if you are dealing in the law towards your brother, you would want them to do the same back to you. Simple. And it also mentioned in that same verse, drink not wine to make thee drunken. Let us deal with it. The book of Sirach, chapter 31. I'm going to start at verse 7.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 31, and verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man if he be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad.
So wine is a great thing. Wine will make you glad if it's drunken right. Read on.
Verse 28. Wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind.
Because it's measurably drunk, meaning that you are in order. Because a false balance is an abomination to the Most High God. Read on.
Verse 29. But wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind, with brawling and quarreling.
It makes you stupid and makes you want to fight. Read.
Verse 30. Drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds.
Hey, being drunk messes you up. So on. Tobit saying, son, watch your cup. Let's go back to Tobit 4. Let's get verse 16.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 16. Give of thy bread to the hungry, and of thy garments to them that are naked, and according to thine abundances give alms, and let not thine eye be envious when thou givest alms.
So give. Cool. Read on.
Verse 17. Pour out thy bread on the burial of the just, but give nothing to the wicked.
Do right to the folks who lived on right. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verses 3 through 4.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 3. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
Read.
Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
Hey, help those who are down and pretty much don't have no one there for them. Back to Tobit 4, let's get verse 18.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 18. Ask counsel of all that are wise, and despise not any counsel that is profitable.
Hey, listen to wise counsel. Point blank, period. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 16, verse 7.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 7. I will bless the Lord, who have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons.
Read.
I have set the Lord, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand and shall not be moved.
So keep the Lord with you. Read.
Verse 9. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope.
You will live a good life if you listen to the counsels of the Most High. One more verse. Verse 10.
Verse 10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
And the Most High will save you from the evil. Let's go back to Tobit 4, and let's get verse 19.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 19. Blessed the Lord thy God always. It's like it. Bless the Lord thy God always, and desire of him that thy ways be directed, and that all thy paths and counsels may prosper. For every nation hath not counsel, but the Lord himself giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will, as he will. Now therefore, my son, remember my commandments, neither let them be put out of thy mind.
Beautiful. Let's want to break it down, starting with blessing the Lord. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 34 and verse 1. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth.
You have to always be talking about the Most High. Always. That's how you bless him. All right. And now let us deal with him and desire of him that thy ways may be directed. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 133.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 133. Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me.
Hey, you want to pray that your steps be ordered in the ways of the Most High, meaning that your steps are in the way of keeping his commandments so that sin doesn't rule over you. And it also says and also we got to realize that everybody doesn't have access to this. Everyone doesn't, and it's said in the scriptures. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 21.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not of the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
So when you don't do right, when you don't hearken to these wise on words, the other nations, they are set to be in your way. And these are the basis of the base people. These are people that are supposed to be under you. These are people that are supposed to be slaughtered. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 14, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 14 and verse 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good.
These are foolish people that don't even believe in the Most High. These are the people that are set before us when we don't keep his way. And there is none that do of good. So I would rather heed to this, because every nation doesn't have this, but the Lord chose us. So Tobit saying, son, do right, keep these commandments, and never let them leave you ever. Let's finish out Tobit 4, verses 20 and 21.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 20. And now I signify this to thee, that I committed 10 talents to Gabriel, the son of Gabrias, at Rages in Media. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou have much wealth. If thou fear the Most High, and depart from all sin, and do that which is pleasing in his sight.
So, son, don't be sad that we are poor, because there is much, much more wealth waiting for us if we fear the Most High God. Let's get the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 9.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So God knows our works, our tribulations, and our poverties, but we are still rich. Read on.
Verse 10. Verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you in prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But thou faithful unto death, Salakia, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Hey, so whether that is prison, whether that is captivity, whether that your goods are taken from you, Tobit's telling to Tobias, son, endure to the very, very end. And then we want to keep on seeing this number 10. 10 days, 10 talents on silver. This is also representing completion, but because this is the ending of our captivity, and like if you end up finishing Tobit's son to his ends up getting everything he had could have dreamed of: a wife, wealth, land, everything. So keep on enduring. Listen to this wise counsel. Listen to a conversation of a father talking to a son, which is constantly saying over and over, no matter how many scriptures that we go to, he is constantly saying, son, keep these laws. And I yield.
So like, can you get, before you yield, can we go back to Revelation chapter 2 and get that last verse 11?
Come, bring it out.
It's the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
Hey, winner, chicken dinner. If you have that ear to hear, if you listen, you will not be hurt in that second death, and the kingdom is ready for you. Kwam Yasha Allah.